Welcome to On Point, and joining me in the studio right now are Belle and Gaston from Beauty and the Beast. You're not imagining things, you're actually seeing Disney come to life. Brought to you by Ali Edwards and Tristan Haynes. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Well, it's going very well. Welcome to Backyard Broadway to On Point.
Thank you.
And Ali, you are Belle.
Yes.
How did you get cast as the role of Belle? In the role of Belle?
Sally sent me a Facebook message and said, would you like to be Belle in a production? And I was like, that's my dream come true, so sure I will. And that kind of went on from there.
Did Sally reach out to you also, Tristan?
I think she reached out to my sister, who reached out to me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So your sister's your agent?
Pretty much.
Yeah, does she get 10% of everything you make?
5.
100% of nothing. Guys, Backyard Broadway, I was talking to Sally earlier about how it all started. It started with a kid's birthday party.
Yeah.
Were you involved in that?
We were.
Right from the get-go?
That
Yeah.
was it.
So what did you think when Sally called you up and said, I am renting costumes from a Toronto company and I'm going to put on a small production of Beauty and the Beast in my backyard for a birthday party? What did you think?
I think my jaw kind of dropped to the floor. It just got bigger and bigger the closer we got to the birthday party, and it was like, and now we have a bubble machine, and now we have professional lighting, and now we have, and I kind of just was like, oh, this is way bigger than I was initially expecting it to be.
Well, I was picturing maybe 12 kids that we're going to dress up for, maybe do a little number, and then we end up tying together this small show, and it ends up getting catered, and it keeps growing, so we were a little surprised.
I heard there were over 100 people by the time all was said and
It
done.
was packed.
In the backyard. And so what was originally going to be a children's birthday party ended up being a children's birthday party / fundraiser for Arch, for the children's pediatric, what do they call it? No, they call it the pediatric suite at Arch. And you guys raised, do you remember how much?
In that first show, 2,400.
Amazing.
Yeah.
With one, how often did you get together to rehearse?
We did it weekly for like a month ahead of the time,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know, maybe 5 times before we actually did it. Like we have a friend of Backyard Broadways, Jamie Lamon. He kind of lets us use his print shop to rehearse in.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of become like our clubhouse. It's amazing. and we rehearsed there, and then the last couple times we were on actually Sally's desk, which had a desk, her desk.
Sally's desk.
Yeah, all of us.
Her
She has
desk.
a very
Small
big
workspace.
desk.
And it was
Like big. Yeah.
yes, her deck.
Yes.
And it was kind of very different.
Is that what you actually performed on,
Yeah.
on the deck as the
Yes.
stage?
on the deck?
Stringed
Oh
up
my-
a black curtain behind us, and then we exited through her door and went
Into
around
her
the corners,
house?
and then,
Yeah.
when we were off stage, we were in her house.
Oh
That's what
my
we did.
gosh. That's funny. So what are your, I should know, I don't really know. We've all worked together in community theater, but I don't necessarily know a lot of your background. So let's talk a little bit about Ali first. Born and raised in Sault Ste. Marie.
Yeah.
Always singing?
Well, not really. I tried out for Annie when I was little,
Okay.
but I couldn't dance, so I didn't get a part.
Oh.
And my mom was very hurt by that, so
Your mom was hurt?
Yeah, so I didn't really know any different. And so I never auditioned again until I was in high school.
Until your mother could handle it emotionally.
That's right.
Her mother couldn't handle rejection, so she wasn't allowed to do theater.
That's right.
I'm making Mrs. Edwards sound bad now. I'm just kidding.
She's
Mrs.
not.
Edwards.
She's amazing.
She's amazing.
But no, so I did Joseph when I was in.
And his
I think-
amazing Technicolor hoo-ha.
Yes.
Yes.
I was in the children's chorus. I was yellow.
And look, to
And
this
I'm still
day,
yellow.
it's a theme.
It is.
It's a leitmotif in your life.
And then I just really loved it, so I just kept kind of
How
doing it.
old were you when you did that then? You were
I
a teenager,
think
you said?
I must have been in grade 8, I think, that year.
Oh, not even high school yet.
No, and then I did, I wanted to do high school theater at Cora
Okay.
with Mrs. Williams, but
Yes.
she made me play the violin for the first 2 years.
did?
Deneen Williams. So I couldn't sing or audition.
You had a heck of a time breaking into showbiz.
I really did. And
But you stuck in it. You
I
hung in it.
did, because I really, really love it.
And then what happened? What was
And
your
then
big breakthrough?
I was cast as Sally Brown in You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown.
Who cast you as that?
Miss Williams.
she
she
finally-
finally caved.
Finally caved around and
Finally
said, I don't
caved.
need a violin player, now I need a singer, and you're it.
That was it. And then we did Into the Woods the following year, and I
Oh.
was Little Red Riding Hood. So
And that was it, you were hooked.
I was hooked after that. And then I did Cats also that year, and I was Jemima. I stood on a fridge. And I sang Memories with Judy Travellini, and that was like the highlight
Judy
of
Holmes
my...
now, yes.
Yeah, oh, that's right.
Yeah,
And
that's
that was
okay.
like- that
She's
was-
busy.
That was like my life. I just like, I was hooked after that forever, so.
And then we got to work together.
We did, when I moved home.
A Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
And then, what was the one we just did?
Anne of Green Gables.
You were brilliant.
It was mean, but yeah.
You were funny.
Yeah.
Okay, Tristan, I have to go to commercial now. When I come back, I'll hear your biography.
Sounds like a plan.
And sounds like a plan. And then we'll talk a little bit more about Beauty and the Beast and the Rose and all of that stuff that happens. It's so magical. So stay with us. We'll be back with more On Point with me, Tim Murphy, and the cast of Backyard Broadway's Beauty and the Beast right after this. We are back on point, and I want to talk to Tristan Haynes now a little bit. Now, I saw you way back in the day when you were a student. You were at White Pines.
White Pines, yeah,
and
that's right.
Susan Barber, the late great Susan Barber, was directing Miss Saigon,
yeah.
and you were cast as one of the two male leads.
That's right.
And I remember sitting in the audience and going, where does she find, like, where do these kids come from? You and Ben Morfitt were amazing in that show. And who was the young lady? What was her name? French last name.
Oh, that was Hannah.
Hannah, oh gosh, it was like a French last name. You should know that. Think about it and get it back to me. Anyway, that's okay, Hannah, whatever your French last name was, it was something like, anyway, it was French. So, did you stay involved doing shows after that show?
After that one, we did Sweeney Todd the next year with the high school, and I was Anthony.
You were the romantic lead.
Yeah, the one little bit of happiness in that show.
Yes. Everybody else died. You lived to the end.
Yeah,
Good for you.
One of the few.
And then what else?
Honestly, after that,
happened?
I stopped.
Why?
There was no real reason. Just got busy. Life went on. Now, me and my friends, though, we like to make videos. So what I spent a lot more of my time is we made funny, short little comedies and did our. Oh, that's probably where I did more of my acting.
Okay.
It was actually little short comedy skits we made ourselves.
That's fun. You know, and there's a lot of people who get started, like seriously started in film and television and even in morning talk shows. No, because Mike Tchaikovsky, the guy that you met, who's right now in the control room, who's directing the segment, he started doing the very same thing, running around with cameras, and now it's his career. You're thinking about maybe going away and doing some more of that work, aren't you, Tristan?
That is possible.
Wow. Okay, but for now we have you in the Sioux.
That's right.
And you're committed to continuing your role as Gaston.
Yes, it's been so much fun.
What do you love about playing the role of Gaston?
Well,
Every
honestly,
time we talk about him as Gaston, you giggle.
Because it's funny.
yeah, practices usually
really
end up in a
cracks
lot
you-
of laughter because we're just cracking puns.
Well, he changes it every time we do it. He does something different, and I don't ever know what he's gonna do, and I have to try and hate him, and I just want to laugh at him. And
There's been many times I've been like, "Give me that," and she's like. So there's a lot of laughter.
You say that after the show is over, you do such a spectacular job in the role that there are young ladies in the audience who want nothing to do with
me. Yeah.
When you post you always post for pictures after?
oh, sure, yeah.
And
Nope. I mean, the occasional kid. That is one of the most fun parts. Is you're actually those characters to those kids.
Yes.
And you know, the kids are going up taking pictures with Belle and Beast, and some of the kids dress up as the characters, and their parents try to bring them up to me. The little girl's dressed as Belle. They just go. Like they want nothing to do with me after the show.
which you say shows they have good taste in
They
men.
have good taste in men from a young age. They're discerning of character.
They're discerning of character. If they're not fond of Gaston and the way that he behaves and his,
They're probably going to do all right.
they're probably going to do all right.
That's what I think.
Well, I just think it says an awful lot if the kids are more attracted to that character than they are to you. If they're liking a guy with horns and fangs more than they like you, you're doing something right. Because you're,
Thanks.
yeah. So, but it is a funny character because he's so full of himself, right?
Yeah.
That's unlike you.
I hope not.
No, I don't. No, you are a pretty. You're not necessarily a boisterous kind of guy.
Yeah, so it's fun to jump into that character and make the jokes in it. But
And does your voice change when you play him?
oh, absolutely! Like it instantly change to the "Hi, how are you?" Like, but the story. So this photo that we have back here.
Yeah.
Right afterwards, we all in our outfits, we went out to Boston Pizza together afterwards.
In costume.
In costume. So we were at this giant table, and everyone else in the restaurant, you could kind of see them looking around at us.
As
and
they would.
The waitress loved having us there. But that was one of the incidences where my inner Gaston came out, because I ordered on Belle's behalf. When she wanted chicken quesadillas, I turned to the waitress and I was like, "Belle will have the chicken quadzadilla." So,
It was good.
So now, how many more performances do you have lined up with this? Do you know yet?
I think just
We have
Right now,
one
guaranteed. But what now, as far as time commitment now goes, now that the show is up and running and you know what you're doing, how often do you have to get together? I mean, if you were to do a show, do you get together just to rehearse a refresher, or just you go and do it at this point?
we usually rehearse one or two times
One or two
before
times.
we do it.
One or two
Yeah.
times. And these amazing costumes, and the wigs and stuff, where have they come from?
China?
This show is sponsored by.
by Trump International. Yes.
They were made in China.
So basically, they are carried by Ivanka Trump and her line of clothing. Yes.
Yes,
All
I know.
made in China. But have you gone through several outfits and wigs, or what?
I have 2 wigs
Mm-hmm.
because especially if I have 2 shows close together, it takes forever for me to detangle this
Right.
thing.
Okay.
Because I don't know, it's just I move around and it gets gross. But and then I have
Belle gets gross.
I do, thank you.
That's the sequel to Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast 2. Belle gets gross.
Yes. No, but I have the blue dress also, so
Okay.
I have to change to this yellow one. So I have 2 different ones.
Do you have a change of clothing?
Just this?
No. Okay. Gaston is always gross. Has been and will be.
Naturally.
That is true.
Guys, you know what? Thanks for doing not just this show, ONNpoint, but thanks for doing all that you do for the community, for community theater, for donating the time that you do for that, for the great fun that we have, and also thanks for what you do with Sally and in memory of Alan and for Arch. So we're going to be back with more. We have more of the cast of Backyard Broadway's Beauty and the Beast coming up right after this. Stay with us on Point. I'm Tim Murphy. We are back on Point with now Maria Catava down there and Rose. Rose, how do you say your last name?
Adamo.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was Andiamo. Rose Adamo. I should know
Yes.
that because I've known you since I met you in your driveway.
Yes, that was fun.
Tell that story.
My daughter did youth engagement theater with you,
That's
and
right.
you would pick her up,
I would pick her up
And-
for rehearsals.
and I would come out and talk to you.
So Rose would come out in her jammies first thing in the morning and stand at my car and say, "So how do I get involved in theater?"
I wanted to. I love theater so much, and I was so excited to get into Christmas Carol with you.
Because you said, "I want to get involved in theater." I said,
Yes.
"Well, I'm going to let you know when we have auditions." And you
Yes.
came when you auditioned and you got in a Christmas
Yeah, I
Carol.
was so happy. My first one.
And now you've done how many?
2.
2. But there's more to come.
I'm
Well,
hope.
you've done 2 on
I've-
stage at the theater center.
And
but
I've
you've done-
auditioned
Oh.
a lot.
Oh, did you just audition
Yeah.
for Mamma Mia?
Yeah,
You were
I
one
did.
of the hundreds of people.
Yes, that was a lot of people auditioning.
No.
Right?
It's cutthroat in this city.
It
isn't
was. It was cutthroat.
Did you audition?
I was away on a motorcycle trip. And I
Oh,
sent
Maria
in
and
a
her
video.
motorcycle gang.
Yeah.
That's right. And so you ladies, so now, anyway, now you're involved in community
Yes,
theater, and then
I
you met
love it.
you met Sally during a
Yes.
Christmas Carol. Well, actually, I guess
Everybody.
everybody who does
Everybody,
that, all these
yeah.
people met during a Christmas Carol.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yes.
I didn't know Rose until then.
So
Yes.
It's fun, isn't it? How
Yeah.
community theater just you meet all kinds of new, interesting people.
It's
And
like a family.
It's yeah.
And then you take what you do on that stage, which is community theater, and that's really just for fun and for entertaining the city and bringing culture to the city. But then you take it and you do something like this, where it's good works,
Yeah.
where you're actually doing stuff for.
Yeah.
So it's something you love,
Yeah.
but you're doing it for a great cause.
Yeah.
And in this
It's
case,
fun.
Arch.
It's way fun.
Do
It's
either of you
fun.
have any connections to Arch personally? Have you ever been out there, or have you had any connections
No,
personally?
not-
I've known a few people that have spent their last days in art.
Yeah. My father passed at home. Not everybody has that luxury of being able to have a loved one pass at home. So we were very fortunate in that regard. But when I went out to Arch and I saw how that whole place operates, it's amazing.
It's a stunning place.
Have you gone out there?
No, I haven't.
Rose, you gotta go. Someday we'll go out together. 'Cause
Okay.
you just wander the grounds and hang out or volunteer out there
I
too.
hear
They
it's a
always-
beautiful place.
and they're always
Yeah.
looking for volunteers too.
Yeah.
So speaking of volunteering, you guys have volunteered now to help Sally
Yes.
with this. Were
Yep.
you at the first birthday party too, Maria?
I was actually Mrs. Potts back then.
Oh, you played the teapot back then.
Yeah. But
Okay.
then we also brought Liz Alloy in. So Liz is now Mrs.
Alloy,
Potts.
who-
Yes.
she teaches music at Case.
Yes.
She's an amazing
Yeah.
singer.
Yes.
So she now plays Mrs. Potts. She couldn't be here today.
No, so I jumped in with the Coquettes.
You're a coquette, which
Which
is
I
basically
quite-
I think they also call them Are they called the silly girls? Yeah, they're called this. Thank you, Mr. Disney.
We swoon.
Yes.
You swoon over.
swoon.
You love Gaston, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a third silly girl, and her name is Penny.
Penny.
There's our friend Penny. As you can see, she's a coquette. She could not be here today because she's at work, and as is obvious from the way she dresses, she works for social services. I'll let you figure out what kind of social work she does. But anyway, no. The three of you must have a blast together.
Oh,
we do.
it's nonstop laughter.
Yes.
Nonstop.
And you get to sing, how many songs in the show do you sing?
One.
Well,
The
we
big-
have our own little couple
little
lines
tune,
all by
yeah.
In
ourselves,
that opening
the three of us.
segment?
And
Yeah.
then we sing.
Must be a couple of ensemble numbers you sing
what's the song?
together. Be Our Guest, you
Be Our
do.
Guest,
Are you in
yes.
that number too?
Yes.
Do you dress up in different costumes for Be Our Guest?
No, we wear this the entire time,
Okay.
but for
But-
Be Our Guest, we put on plates. We're
Yes,
like
we have
dancing
plates strapped on the back of us. And
We
we're-
put
We're
on
dancing
plates.
plates.
yeah.
So we have to really be careful not to whack each other.
They're huge.
Are they? Where'd they come from?
Cora, I think.
Cora?
I think they
Oh,
came from Cora.
So Deneen Williams and the gang at Cora
Yes.
help out by
Yes.
by donating props and stuff
Yes,
as well,
yes.
which probably were made at some point by Ian Ganton. Am I right about that? Yes,
Yeah.
our friend
Yeah,
Ian
yeah,
Ganton,
yeah,
who's an
yeah.
amazing props master. So now, you talked about the Lamon printing place.
Yes, yes. Jamie Lamon, he provides the space for us to rehearse in, and he does all the printing for Backyard Broadway.
He does?
It's quite amazing. He
Is
does such an amazing job.
Does he do stuff like this? Would this be a Lamon printing
That's-
job? This
that's
is a
one of his
great
posters,
poster
yep.
with real photographs of you guys. Where's the waterfront that you posed by?
That
Where's
was
that
at Hiawatha.
Hiawatha? Did you go out there for a photo shoot? For
Yes.
heaven's sake!
As you can see, that's not me. I was on a motorcycle trip.
You do that a lot. Well, good for you, though. How much fun. So now, you're going to continue doing Backyard Broadway as long as it's
Yes.
around,
Yes.
aren't
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
You love it.
We
Totally.
I
love it.
wonder if there's new shows in the works. Maybe we can
Yes.
start. You guys should start thinking about what other shows you could do versions of.
Yes.
Okay.
That would
Yeah.
be fun.
I have to say, Grease was fun.
Grease
Yes,
was fun.
Grease
It
was
was
fun.
fun. It
Well,
was-
I'm going to get back involved again.
Yay.
Well,
Good,
now I have
good.
this great job where I work 7 to 3, so I do have some time in the
Yeah.
evenings. Although I am doing Mamma Mia.
Yes, I'm so happy for you. Congratulations.
Anyway, we got to go to commercial, and we're going to come back with more guests, more from the cast of Backyard Broadway's Beauty and the Beast. You can catch them around town. You can actually bring them in for your events. All the money that's raised goes to Arch in memory of our friend Alan Toivonen, and of course for the Children's Pediatric Suite at Arch, as well as for all of us who appreciate all that they do at Arch Hospice. So stay tuned with more On Point coming up right after this. I feel like I'm at Disneyland. You guys, these costumes are phenomenal. Let me do some introductions. First of all, this is Jenna. Hi, Jenna. Jenna plays Chip. Chip, the little cup, because he's got a chip in him. If anybody doesn't know.
The teacup.
And I love the fact that Allie Edwards, who just was interviewed as Belle,
Yeah.
painted this.
No, she made it. It
She
was amazing.
actually just made the whole thing.
Yeah, she brought it in, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is like, it's actually the character, and it's so lovely to have it in my hands, and to like, I like to move him when I talk.
Yes. Is that how you do it? So when you play Chip,
Yeah, he
actually is-
moves. Because otherwise, I'm looking at the character, and Chip's not. But
Right, right. And our next character over. Hi, Dennis.
Hi, Tim. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. You play Cogsworth.
Yes.
And in the story of Beauty and the Beast, you're turned into a clock.
Clock.
And Dennis was saying earlier, he's all hands.
I'm all hands.
That's funny. And then on the end is our friend Chris Moore. Hi, Chris.
Hi.
You play the role of Lumiere.
I do.
The sort of the one who takes the lead on this famous song, Be Our Guest.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Now, let's start with you, Chris, about the costume. Originally, when you did Backyard Broadway with Sally for
Right.
the birthday party, the costume came from Toronto.
It did, yeah.
And now, since then, you, Mr. Creator,
Yeah, I put together like the hands and the hat and all of that.
so you've made
yeah.
this yourself.
Yeah.
Now, we can see the feathers moving, which have become the flames, which is far safer than using anything.
Oh,
like a
absolutely,
flame.
yeah.
And also, it shows up better. If you do shows in broad daylight, flames don't show up.
Right.
I mean, they work on stage, but only if it's the right lighting.
Mm-hmm.
Feathers were a great idea.
Oh yeah, that I kind of took from the idea
From
there
the-
as well.
from the
Like
costume
they
for the
had
Opera House.
gloves that had the feathers too, and then I kind of just worked on improving what they did with their costume.
And what
made
about
it better.
your headpiece? It's got
The
a
headpiece?
feather in there as well.
It does, yeah.
And-
And they do have little lights as well, but obviously they don't show up very well.
Very
here.
well.
But,
Now, and the melted wax, I don't know if the audience can tell, but it's really, tell them.
it's spray foam.
Aren't you
And
clever?
yeah, so like just the way it drips down looks like
The
melted
melted
wax.
wax.
So yeah.
And what about the rest of the costume? Was that rented? Did it come from the costume bay? From
The costume bay mostly.
All right, so-
some of it I had myself as well because I do a lot of cosplay related stuff. So
You've done some. I've seen some of your Facebook pictures
Oh,
of
yeah.
you at cosplay. You have some amazing outfits you've
I
done
enjoy
for
it.
yourself.
I enjoy putting together like character costumes.
Do you go away very often for those kinds of things?
I go to Anime North usually once a year.
Where's
So,
that
like,
held?
Toronto.
Okay.
Right by Pearson Airport. So.
Yeah.
But it's a huge event. Like about 50,000 people go to it. So it's
Honestly.
it's crazy. Yeah.
And you've been doing theater now, Chris, for quite a while.
Oh, I think at least 15 years.
Well, was Chicago the very first show?
It was the second, actually.
Second show. You
Yeah,
did one before that.
Yeah. I did Les Mis with Algoma District School
Oh,
Board forever
yes.
ago. And
You were the dark guy, Monsieur Dar. Was that
I
you?
was Monsieur Dark in Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, sorry, I got my mixed.
yeah.
I'm
Because I
getting
was
my
in Beauty
characters
and the
mixed
Beast too. And but in Les Mis I was Feuilly.
Somebody
One
else
of the
scary.
one of the students. Yeah.
Oh, you were a student in that
I
one.
was
Okay.
a student. Yeah.
Now let's go to Dennis next. Dennis, this is all pretty new to you.
It is.
How did you originally get started with? You started with community theater as well.
Yes.
Shot in the Dark, right?
Yes, Shot in the Dark.
Tell me a little bit about that. How that happened.
Well, I was invited to, because I work with another charity, it's kind of related to Arch in a way, but...
What's it called?
Tracy's Dream.
Tracy's Dream.
Yes, we raise funds and help cancer patients with parking costs.
Oh wow!
So we were invited by Anthony Accetti to come out to, as Sally does with Backyard Broadway, they pre-show a fundraiser for a different charity for each show. So
Oh,
they
so-
chose Tracy's Dream to
As the recipient
yeah.
of the audience donations for a production that Shot in the Dark did.
Yeah, the
What show was
fundraiser.
that?
That first one we did was Young Frankenstein.
Young Frankenstein.
Yes.
Shane as Frankenstein.
Yes,
Hysterically
Shane
funny.
Hadlett. So during the evening of the fundraiser, I guess Anthony realized they were short on servers for this one scene, so he asked me if I wanted to participate. And I'd never ever done, like my resume says, I don't sing, I don't act, I don't dance. But they found a spot for me, so I brought a tray out and I did a little jig with Janine Jefferson
Yeah.
and then came back in. And I really loved it, and I loved the people that were involved in the theater. So, and the fact that there's a charity aspect to it. So I stayed in touch with people and was invited to come out to their next show, Working. Which
yes.
I really enjoyed, and that's where I
And
met
that's
Sally.
where you met the magical Sally
Yes.
Toivonen, who recruited you from the cast of Working to get involved in Backyard Broadway.
Correct.
And here
yes.
you sit with a clock on your head.
You're right.
Isn't life fun?
That's how it happens.
Well, I have a lot of time on my hands.
Oh,
have,
Dennis, stop it!
no.
Okay, speaking of time, it's time for a commercial break. Nice segue, Tim. We're gonna come right back with more Backyard Broadway, and we'll talk a little bit about my friend Jenna that I met at auditions, and you blew me away. I'm so happy to have met you. We're coming right back after this. Don't go anywhere. Stick around on Point. Now, I just want to finish up with Dennis before I get to Jenna. Dennis, you were talking about your resume says can't sing, don't sing, don't dance, don't act. And yet here you are in theater. And that's the magic of theater, isn't it?
It is. It
There's a
is.
spot for everybody.
There is, and I've had various roles. In the last one I did, I was actually backstage helping as a stagehand, which gives me the same gratification of being there, and you're still within the group. And
That's
it's,
very true. You know, when I was 14 years old when I did my first show, and not every show can have teenagers in it. And so my second show, we talked about Judy Holmes. Back then she was Judy Morgan, and she was starring in the show Can Can, and I was too young to be in the show. So I, once again, like you, I wanted to do it so badly. I just worked backstage, I worked backstage as a props person.
Yes.
And I just remember standing in the wings and watching the show and thinking, I just love everything about this. Is that how you got involved, Jenna? What's your story?
Oh my goodness. Well, okay. So my parents one of the first dates they went on, they went to see Phantom of the Opera. So in Toronto.
Yes.
And they both love that show so much. And that was probably the first show that I watched, and I just fell in love with it so much. And then
Did you
Cora,
see it too?
Yeah, I haven't seen it like a professional production. I saw it when it was at Cora.
Okay.
And then I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. I have to be part of it. And that's when I auditioned for Anne of Green Gables.
You homeschooled or did you go to Cora?
No, I go to St. Mary's College.
You go to St. Mary's, okay.
Yeah.
And so Anne of Green Gables was the first show you auditioned for?
Well, I auditioned for Mary Poppins, I think, just because I heard it and I was like, oh, Disney. But then when I came and auditioned for Anne of Green Gables, it was because I loved theater.
See, now that makes me wonder, why didn't I cast you in Mary Poppins?
I was a lot more shy.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
So you came out of your shell in
Yeah.
that year and a bit.
Yeah.
So,
Fantastic.
okay, now your voice. Jenna, you know that I love your voice. And do you currently take lessons anywhere?
With Agnes McCarthy.
Agnes McCarthy.
Yeah.
Had you always studied, or did you just naturally have that kind of you know what it is about your voice that I love is your range, that you can sing everywhere in like a belt voice, like what I call a belt voice, which is that Broadway, wah, you know, up into a beautiful soprano range, which is remarkable that not everybody can do that. A lot of belters or altos or lower voice females, but you've got a real blended sound. Was this just a natural thing that happened for you? Did you discover that you could sing?
Well, I'll tell you, Tim. I sing a lot. I could sing before when I was younger, but not very well. And then I kept on singing, and my family doesn't know what a quiet house is like.
How many of you are there?
I just have my younger sister, Elena, and my parents, my mom and my dad.
Okay, but you make enough noise for everybody.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I feel like, actually, Louise Stevens,
Yes.
John and Louise Stevens, they're our neighbors, and I feel like they can hear me on occasion.
Well, I'm sure Louise doesn't mind because she's a voice teacher as well, and so was
Yeah.
her mother, who was my first singing
Yeah.
teacher.
Wow.
Yes, Marguerite Griffith, Louise's mother, was my first singing
That's
teacher.
so
When
cool.
She approached me, she heard me sing in a show, and she came to me and said, would you be interested in taking lessons? I think you have an instrument there that could use some training. So, and I
Yeah.
started studying with Marguerite.
And so there are so many connections.
There are.
That's wild.
Will you continue to do Backyard Broadway?
Yes. I'm going away to school next year. I'm going to Master's College and Seminary in Peterborough, but I still want to be involved in theater, and when I come back to visit, like, I can't stay away.
Love that.
So.
Guys, thanks so much for being here. That wraps up our time with this segment. I really appreciate you bringing all the costumes and getting dressed up and sharing with Sault Ste. Marie what it is that you guys do out of not just love for theater, but also out of compassion. And as Dennis says, it's a chance to get involved in something you like and give back at the same time. So kudos to all of you, and we'll see you back on stage soon, I hope. But for now, we're going to take another break and come back with this special hour-long edition of ONNpoint, starring the cast of Backyard Broadway's Beauty and the Beast. More coming up right after this message. So welcome back to this extra special hour-long episode of ONNpoint as we feature Backyard Broadway. And here she is, the woman of the hour herself, Sally Toivonen, and that other lady on the end, Marilyn. Marilyn Stasiak and Sally Toivonen from Backyard Broadway. But this whole thing was really your idea. Yeah. Backyard Broadway is your baby.
It is my baby, and I'm blessed with the best team of people that could be with it. Not only are they talented singers and performers and very committed, but they're my family. They are really my family.
So how did you meet this family?
I met this family coincidentally because of you.
Well, imagine that.
It all goes back to Tim.
Always about me.
Tim had auditions for Christmas Carol, and Alan had just passed.
Oh, I didn't. It was that recent that Alan had passed away before Christmas Carol.
And so I remember opening the newspaper and seeing that you were auditioning, and I thought I had this break of time between September and December before my two children, Anya and Johannes, came home, and I thought, what am I going to do with my time? So I dusted off the theater shoes, showed up at the theater, and I remember the auditions. You just welcomed me and gave me a big hug.
Well, you'd been gone from the scene you'd taken a bit of a break, and then obviously with Alan's health, your focus was all on Alan, as it should have been. So this was a chance for you to sort of come back, as Alan would have wanted.
Exactly.
Right, to your theater roots and your theater family.
And so I ended up getting the part in the audition.
You did.
I was cast as, if I remember, London's town drunk.
Yes, you were.
And it wasn't typecasting.
No, not like Marilyn getting cast as the hag.
No.
That. No, Sally, you don't tip the glass very much.
No, teetotaler. Yeah.
You're a teetotaler, so. So you played the drunk very well.
Yes.
You and
Oh,
Ernie Goulias,
Ernie.
one of the founding members of the comedy, one of the original founding members of the
Yes.
Musical Comedy Guild, 1962, and Ernie Goulias still comes out and does shows.
And we walked around on stage at the Christmas party, drinking all the leftover wine glasses,
Yes.
and we had a
On
blast.
stage, she
Yes.
means. Yes.
And I also was another part. I played the charwoman with the broom, and I felt like Carol Burnett.
With Maria Catava.
With Maria Catava, and that was where this all kind of started from.
So all the people you met in the cast of A Christmas Carol, you got this idea about putting on a birthday party.
Yes, a birthday party for the little guy that's the cop way over here.
Oh, the little
guy
guy that played Chip?
Yeah, in that
You
scene.
can't
yeah.
even really see him, but
He turned 7 years old. He flew up from Toronto, and we did the birthday party, and we had 135 people come to the birthday party, and we decided to give money to Arch in honor of Alan.
in honor of Alan. And so
Yes.
then that was it. Once you had done this,
Then we were stuck together as a group. We were
As a
joined
group.
as at the hip.
where else did you perform Beauty and the Beast besides at the birthday party?
We have been at the Ermitinger House. We have been at the library. We also did Collegiate Heights. We did a Christmas show
They
for the.
loved it there.
They did. They did. And Penny and Maria and Rose had to kind of lower their skirt a bit because we didn't want any heart attacks at Chartwell.
That's so funny because they're wearing this, well, as you can see in Penny's outfit there, they wear the short skirts and stuff. That's funny. So
He
you,
also did Northern Heights.
Yes, we just did Northern Heights. That's Allie's, Allie Edwards, her mother,
Yes.
invited us to do a
She
a
works
show.
there?
Yes, and we performed at the high school, at the school,
French immersion.
French
yeah.
immersion.
the French
We did
immersion
it in
school.
English,
Yes,
though.
we did it.
You did it in
English.
English.
Yes.
So
Thank goodness.
do you sing in French, Mrs. Stasiak?
If I have the words in front of me, yes.
Now, so you got involved right off the bat?
No.
You came in later.
No, I'm the newcomer to the group.
She's actually our latest, and yeah, she's
Latest and greatest.
Because of Greece, they needed somebody to play Vi, so I was talking to my friend Maria, and I said, well, gee, I'd do that in a heartbeat. So, and once you're in, like she said, it's like what's that hotel you can check out?
Hotel
but you can't
California.
leave.
Hotel California. You
Yeah.
can
You
check
can.
in. Yeah.
You can
can't
never
check.
leave.
You can never leave.
No.
And
We have to leave for just a moment, and I'm going to come back and find out about how that led to you getting involved default as the costume wardrobe mistress. So stay with us. More On Point coming up right after this break with Backyard Broadways, Sally Toivonen and Marilyn Stasiak talking about Beauty and the Beast and how they raise money for Arch with their local performances. Stay with us. So technically speaking, Sally, your role would be the producer of the show because you are the one bringing the people together, you're handling the bookings, you're arranging all of the costumes and all of that kind of stuff. You recruited Marilyn after she had performed in the Grease
Production of Grease,
fundraiser.
yes.
You then got involved with costumes for
For
Backyard
Beauty
Broadway,
and the Beast.
for Beauty and the
yeah.
Beast.
Yes.
And that's what you were doing? You were sort of the wardrobe mistress?
I was putting in zippers and mending rips and hemming and stuff
Especially
like that.
the Beast costume. Our Beast.
Oh, the Beast.
He kept getting bigger and bigger, and we had to keep sewing.
But his costume at that time wasn't from China. Now
No.
he has a gorgeous costume.
Oh.
But
Gorgeous.
his first costume was from the Halloween store.
Yes,
Oh, so
wonderful.
you've upgraded now.
And whenever he flexed his muscles, the back seam sort of.
Marilyn had to go back to work.
And you can't sew that stuff, so I had
Right.
iron-on tape.
Oh my gosh.
She's amazing.
So you recruited her to do wardrobe and then you put her in the show as well?
Yes, because we just wanted her
Because
on
my
stage.
feelings were hurt at being left out again.
Yes.
So you're the one who cast the spell on the beautiful Rose? I could pull that
I
over and just bring that
cast-
in. Bring your beautiful
Yeah.
Rose in.
I cast a spell on the
put a
castle
spell on
and
you.
yeah.
This rose was created by my dear friend Andrea Allingham, who came all the way from Brandon, Manitoba, and she created this
With the
rose.
lights and
then
everything.
Jamie's neighbor, Michelle, did the whole
Jamie
etching.
Lamon?
Jamie Lamon's neighbor. Michelle did the etching for the glass.
No
And we
kidding,
open
it
our
is,
show
it's
with
all
this.
etched.
Yes. Yeah.
That's beautiful. All these people contribute, and it's for such a good cause. Now, so producer, kind of director as well, I guess.
Yes,
Sally.
yes.
You also help with the writing of how the show's going to get put together.
Yes.
And then you're in the show.
And then I'm in the show.
So Marilyn's in charge of wardrobe, but you are
I am Madame Garderobe.
which is the singing wardrobe.
The singing, the opera singer.
The
that-
opera singer.
And as you know, I sing opera beautifully, as I've sang in your shows.
So
Moving on.
but it's for a good cause.
It's for a good cause.
So
I am Madame Garderobe, and I am in charge of putting Belle in that beautiful yellow dress that she comes out to dance the song.
tale as old as time.
Yes. And it brings tears. It brings tears to everybody's
It's
eyes.
beautiful, Sally. And what you've done is beautiful. How much have you raised for Arch so far?
We have raised over close to $6,000 just with Beauty and the Beast, and we have raised a total of close to $12,000 in Alan's name.
Sally,
Yeah.
Sally.
And we
now.
want to continue on.
And you're gonna?
Yes, because Arch is a very special place.
It is, and you know what? We were talking earlier. I just want to get a little plug in for Dennis.
Dennis.
Dennis's wife,
Tracy.
Tracy. He mentioned in his interview segment Tracy's dream. Dennis's wife Tracy passed away from cancer, and he and Tracy, while she was alive, started Dennis's Dream, which is a fundraising effort to pay for parking for people who are going through cancer treatments at the hospital.
Yes.
If you're interested.
Yes, Tracy's Dream. You can find it online.
On Facebook?
On Facebook, as well as just get in touch
At the
with me.
cancer clinic, they have pamphlets there. If you want to apply for funding for parking, you're all set. So thank you so much to Sally Toivonen and the whole gang, Marilyn, and everybody from Backyard Broadways, Beauty and the Beast. If you want to get a hold of Sally, how?
Sally Toivonen at shaw.ca.
Okay, and thanks for joining us again on Point with Tim. I forgot who I was and what I was. On Point with Tim Murphy. We'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for being here today. Take care. Thanks for joining us on this special hour-long episode of On Point, where we're highlighting Backyard Broadway, especially Beauty and the Beast. And so now I'm wearing different clothes because this is a different day. We had to do a whole other day to interview all of you. There's so many of you. Wow. Mike Doherty. Yes. Owen Kiersdam, welcome to ONNtv, your first time here.
Thanks for having us.
It's a pleasure. Mike, you and I met originally during Mary Poppins, I think.
Yep, 2015.
But I knew your daughter before that.
Yes, yeah, my daughter Natalie had auditioned for a few things. Yeah.
And she also did youth engagement theater with me.
She did, yeah.
As did Owen Kiersdam back in the day. You were in one of the original youth engagement theater troupes for, what was it called? Youth engagement theater. Yeah,
there you go.
So anyway, Mike.
Yes.
You have a background in music. Tell me a little bit about that.
My background started actually with the Northland Barbershop Chorus.
Yes.
Back about 8 years ago, where, that's where my connection to Backyard Broadway is as well. Through the Barbershoppers, I met Alan Toivonen.
Alan, who is Sally's late husband. And
Sally's
one
late
of the
husband.
Sally is, of course, the driving force behind Backyard Broadway and all of the fundraising you do for Arch in Alan's memory.
Yeah.
So you sang with Alan in the chorus.
I sang with Alan as a bass originally, and after a few years, switched over to lead and have been doing that since. Yeah.
And then you came and auditioned for Mary Poppins, and you played the lead role of
Well,
Mr.
I didn't
Banks?
originally audition, but ended up really kind of just being there. Yeah. And then just started having some fun, and you gave me the call back. Yeah.
And now you've done lots of shows since.
I wouldn't consider it lots. I've done a few things. Well, a few Backyard Broadway.
Yeah.
With Sally and Mary Poppins, and a couple of things with Shot in the Dark.
Shot in the Dark too, right? Yeah. Now, Owen, what about you? What was your intro to theater? How did you get involved?
Well, I started back in high school. I started off in Sweeney Todd.
Oh, with Susie Barber at White Pines on stage.
Yeah, and then my next play I was in Alice in Wonderland.
That was a great show. And Karen Nisbet, those incredible costumes and stuff for Alice in Wonderland, right?
Yeah. I played the Mock Turtle in that one. Yeah.
I remember you, actually. You were hysterically funny. That's right. That's the first time I saw you on stage, and you cracked me up. And okay, cool.
Yeah, and then I was in and then after that, I joined Beauty. I stopped for a couple of years, and I came back into it again for Beauty and the Beast. And then that brought me into a dozen different shows. I was in Working the Musical.
Yes.
I was a UPS man. Woo! UPS! Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
You're the best. So now, Backyard Broadway, the role you play, tell me about your character.
Well, my character, I am Gaston's sidekick.
Yeah, and your name is?
La Fou.
La Fou, which means the fool.
The fool.
Yeah,
that's
so
right.
that was typecasting. Yeah. I'm just kidding. Okay, so you are the sidekick, very comic character.
Yes.
do lots of pratfalls and stuff? Are you always falling down and hurting yourself and stuff, or what?
Oh, I'm always kind of like having like Gaston's back, you know, like backing him up, you know.
You make sure he's, you're his biggest fan, aren't you?
Oh, I'm his biggest fan, so I always have his back whenever, you know.
And so, but you both kind of are clowns, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
You enjoy that?
Oh, I enjoy that very much.
And also for a great cause.
Oh, yes, very much.
Now, what about you, Mike? What role do you play?
My role is Maurice. I play Belle's father.
You're the father figure.
I'm the father, so I get to dote over my daughter at every chance I get.
And then you get that lovely song
Get
you
a
sing
little
to
bit of
her.
a snippet of a solo song. It's very
And then you
nice.
you also cover another role in the show.
Yep, because in the abbreviated version that we do, Maurice is a relatively small part, so then I kind of switch over and then I become Cogsworth.
So sometimes you'll play Cogsworth when casting is necessary.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And so, how many performances have you done then of Beauty and the Beast?
I've done 3, I believe.
Okay.
Of the performances that have been on, but
Sure, yeah. I've been in it like since the beginning.
And and you also were involved in the production of Grease that they did.
Yeah.
Who did you play in Grease? Did you have a character in that one?
I did. I played Putsy. Yeah.
Putsy?
Yeah.
I think that was a made-up character just for you.
Oh, for sure. Thanks, Tim.
So listen, it's great that you guys do this. It's a fun way to spend your time. And to share your talents and also to raise money for a great cause.
yeah, it's a fantastic cause for sure.
And I guess we're all getting together again. We're going to do a big group photo at Lamon's Printing where you guys rehearse and for some promotion for Backyard Broadway. And there's an upcoming event. We're not going to talk about that just yet because we're going to have Sally on the show again next week on the morning show to promote the event that's coming up as part of I think it's part of like Community Days, Rotary Fest and stuff. I'm losing my earpiece. Sorry. Anyway, I know that you're a hard-working fella, and Owen, you're a busy fella as well. So we do appreciate you coming in today.
Can we just have one certain
you do whatever
one
you
little
want.
plug?
You have a plug. Oh, you have
one little plug. Backyard Broadway would
not?
like to thank graciously the efforts of Rob Rock, who does all our lighting and all our on this one.
Yes.
All our lighting and all our sound, and he does it from the goodness of his heart because it's such a great cause. And Sally is very very attached to this cause. So we applaud him for that.
And Rob is a super community-minded guy.
Oh,
there's only a few people in town who do things like the lighting and the sound and the microphones and all that kind of stuff. And Rob is one you can always count on to donate a lot of his time and resources.
Absolutely.
So, as you say, it takes a lot of stuff to make a show like Beauty and the Beast happen. From the costumes to the rehearsal space to the technical side of it, people like Rob Rock volunteering their time. It takes a village.
It certainly does.
For sure.
And you guys are a big part of that village, the Disney Village.
The Disney Village.
What's the name of the town?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I'm not really sure.
What's the name of the village? Does anybody know the name of the village where Beauty and the Beast takes place?
LeFouville.
I forget.
LeFouville.
LeFouville.
I wish.
All right, listen, we got to wrap this segment up because I got more guests coming. But thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on stage on Backyard Broadway. Coming up, we're going to meet the Beast and also a feather duster. Stay tuned for more On Point with Tim Murphy right after this. So, if you ever wanted to do a version of The Wizard of Oz for Backyard Broadway, I could take your beast mask and turn it into the Cowardly Lion. Anyway, hi.
Hi.
This is Cass Haynes, and Jeremy Wheaton, also from the cast of Backyard Broadway's Beauty and the Beast. Cass, who do you play?
I play Plumette.
Show her your feathers. Where are they all? Look, put them
There's
all.
a lot of them.
Oh, look at you. Thank goodness none of us have allergies.
Yeah,
Plumette, you're a feather duster that comes to life?
Yeah, so I'm actually kind of the girlfriend of Lumiere's character.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
You're the girlfriend of the candlestick.
Yeah, so it's a very dangerous relationship.
And what do you say about relationships with him?
Oh, no, I have been burned by you before.
Because you're French and you're a bit of a flirt, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is not really like you in real life.
No,
You're a pretty quiet lady.
Yeah.
How'd you get involved in theater?
I got involved in theater back in high school and actually with Sue Barber.
Another one from Sue Barber's class. Wow.
Yeah, I
So
started
many.
with Miss Saigon. And
All right. Your brother starred in that.
yes, he did.
We
And
had him
then-
over. He was in the earlier interview.
Yeah, and then did Sweeney Todd.
So many in common with other people.
I'm still forgetting all of them. Yeah, Alice in Wonderland, which I actually got to star in as Alice.
You starred?
Yeah.
You were so little then.
Yeah, and I actually dyed my hair blonde for the show.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And Jeremy, you, I recall, you started off working backstage, didn't you?
I did.
Tell me, I'm going to take this off now. Tell me about how you transferred from backstage to onstage. How did that happen?
Well, the first backstage play I did was Les Miserables.
Okay.
And I saw how Joe Lozon produced and how everybody acted.
Directed, yeah.
And directed, sorry.
That's okay.
And I kind of fell in love with
The
theater. I don't know.
passion. Even when you were working backstage, you could tell that you were getting really into it and loving the experience. So then I remember going to see Shot in the Dark production of West Side Story.
Yes.
And was that your debut on stage?
Yes.
Blew me away. I remember sitting there in the audience going, that's that guy that he moved sets for the last show I directed.
Yeah.
And there you were on stage and you were not only funny, but that voice of yours.
My name is Jeremy Wheaton, and I'm a bass baritone.
I love your voice. And then now, since then, we've gotten to work together on stage.
Yeah.
And now here you are, starring as the Beast. Do you love it?
I do.
Do you? And it's also for a great cause.
Yes, it is.
Are you going to continue to perform?
Definitely.
All right. Anything coming up for you?
Not for me yet.
Okay, well, we're going to get you back on stage again, as well as back on Backyard Broadway.
Yeah.
And Cass, what about you? Anything coming up?
Not at the moment, but
We can look forward to seeing you on stage again?
oh yeah, definitely.
Listen, guys, thanks so much for coming in, and thanks for all you do for Backyard Broadway and for raising money for Arch. And so stay tuned. Watch our morning show, Mornings with Luann and Tim, and you're going to get information coming up about when you can catch Backyard Broadway here in Sault Ste. Marie for part of our summer in the Soo. But thanks again for coming in, and join us again on Point next time. I'm Tim Murphy. Thanks for tuning in today. Bye for now.